Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back to the eastern wing of the Stink Bug Works. Not a whole lot going on right now. Things are kind of settling down whilst I take inventory and make plans. This was one of my old prototype atlases, but as you can see, it got waned on. Wayne decided he was going to drive his outrigger full tilt boogie into this while I was standing still. So while it didn't sink, thank God for filling these things up with foam. While it didn't sink, it is no longer seaworthy. So I've been using it as a test bed for spray paint and what the like. But the reason this is out, and let me go into a little more detail. Stand by. I spoke with Kobe Cohen at JNR Marine the other day, and we had a real good conversation, and we're on the same page with a lot of topics. And he's currently working on a larger hull, probably the same size as the Wonder Woman Extreme, 24 inches or so. And so that's a good size hull, but everybody and the brother knows that I've been jonesing for something in the 20-inch range. This is 18, and it's just a little small. I put my 20-inch motors in here, and it's just too much. And I put my 20-inch motors in that, and they're not enough. So they're my 20-inch motors. Well, Kobe wants to do a 20-inch hull. And I sent him Gary Finley's plans for this in several scale, plus some of his other plans that I got from the Roadrunner, the Rum Runner 1/16th scale contest. And that was, God, when was that? 2003, 2004, something like that. Anyway, and we all built Gary Finley plans. I still have my short circuit up there. That was the first short circuit. I liked the name Short Circuit by Thompson Electric Company because it just had so many double and triple entendres, meaning he's going to just do a short circuit around the buoys, or he's going to get a short circuit in the wiring, or, but it was a fun play of words, and so I've just always liked that. Plus, I like the pink and yellow design. It really pops out there on the water. There's no way you can't miss that boat. And so I've done a bunch of other short circuits. Well, let's get on to the case at hand. When you look at these Finley hydros and all the fiberglass hydros on the market, they're all essentially the same. Little variations, but they're the same design. And what I mean by that is they'll have an air trap and a tunnel, and they'll either have air dams or no air dams, depending on the design of the hull. And the sponsons will be, full sponsons. But then start looking at the hydroplanes that are making inroads on speed and handling for RC boats. And to that end, let's look at the, what's the one, Brian? The Whiplash, the Black Pearl, the UL1, and the one from M5 Racing. Or not, whoever that guy is. Anyway, they've done something different on the sponsons. They've done something completely different. What they've done is they've put, well, actually in the case of the UL1, the brake is in front of here, but the UL1 has pulled that back. So they make this a recovery pad. So that's a little steeper angle. And then they make this out here, the sponson, and they keep this leg straight. And this is all cut away. Now, why is that cut away? And what purpose does that serve? And why does that benefit us, the RC boater? Well, let me tell you. We pack a lot of air underneath here. And actually, we pack proportionally more air per unit of weight of this thing than the full-size boats. The full-size boats weigh 6,000 pounds. That's 3 tons. You know, that's a lot of weight. You need a lot of air to lift that much weight. This weighs 1 pound, if that. And so it doesn't need nearly as much air. So what this tends to do, you know, we'll talk about this. First, all the air is trapped under here and it gets thinner and thinner. You know, the deck height gets closer and closer to the water and it packs it more and more and more and more, but this is going away. So the pressure is pretty much even. And then this last little control plate here is level with the ride surface or with the water surface, as is this. So it's just a way of playing with the airflow over this thing. The thinking of this is, in order to avoid blowovers with today's super high-powered motors, I mean, let's be real honest. Let's go back to the big ones. They're putting in a cheesy little 2,000 horsepower, you know, turbine engine, 2,000 horsepower. We're sticking in 20,000 horsepower in these things. We don't need as much to keep them in the air. So the thinking of this goes like this. Your air's coming in here, it's packed, and then it hits this opening. And all of a sudden the pressure drops. So you no longer have the pressure under here that you did before. You know, you've got it packed here, and this is partly for looks, to make it look like a regular hydroplane. But as soon as the air hits this, it loosens up. So it kills a ton of lift, and then there are no air dams or anything. The entire bottom is one flat plate, and it packs air under here, dumps some of it here, and the rest of it rides on that flat plate. That's modern RC hydroplane. This is, how can we make it look vintage? And you see what he did here? He put a ride plate on and pulled up the bottom of the sponson some to get that single narrow ride surface, but this moves it further outside, making the boat more stable in the turns too. So let's get back to J&R Hydros. Kobe hasn't seen my thinking yet, and when he sees this video, he's going to go, oh yeah, I get it. So what we're going to have to do, now, I think Kobe's been taking other models and modifying them and then using that as a plug. We've got to make a plug from, you know, raw materials. It doesn't have to be lightweight. It doesn't have to be hollow. You know, we could cut a bunch of corners and make it out of, you know, a hunk of pine or whatever and just start carving away on it. But that's what I'm thinking. let's build a 20-inch boat with a more modern hull design where we're not packing the air that these older boats packed. Part of my problem with these older boats is it's really easy to overpower them and blow them off the water. And they're not fun to drive when they're that high powered. You know, stick a 426 Hemi in a Volkswagen and you'll have a real fast Volkswagen that's not fun to drive. Well, it might be fun the first couple of times you floor it. Anyway, that's some of my thinking. Kobe, what do you think? And let's go back to the challenge. The challenge. You know, every day I get more input on the challenge, and it's like, okay, great. I'm absolutely going to do it again. I just have to decide how to do it that it can become all that it was. I mean, it was a learning experience for some. It was an entertaining experience for others. Who was it? I forgot his name. He just sent his stuff in yesterday, and let me tell you, I'm going to send this guy a prize. But he ran a Miss Geico 17 on a 2040 motor. And as soon as he opened up that thing, I saw the 2040, and I'm thinking, that's kind of a small motor for a 17-inch cat. And he ran the motor, but when it came back, it was at 190 some odd degrees. And my guess is the magnets in that motor have now severely eroded. They're not dead. It'll still run, but what'll happen when your magnets lose magnetism, your KV will go up and your KT, your torque factor, will go way down. And so, and your IO, your idle lamps will go way up too. So, you know, the motor won't work. I mean, it'll run, but it won't work. So I'm going to send him that little catamaran that was here yesterday. I'll send it to him. I'll get his email and send it, or his physical mail and send it off to him. He can put the 2040 motor, another one, in that boat, and it might make that boat go real good. Anyway, I've pretty much covered everything I need to cover and jacking my jaw. So until next time, boys and girls, jet out.